It's 2024. Everyone is getting excited about AI. Everyone was excited 2 years ago about blockchain. Everyone is excited about open banking and a lot of new things. And then when you sit down next to a CFO and ask her, hey, what's the process for your customers to actually pay you? She's going to tell you like, look, it's very simple. So we send them an email. It got buried into their mailbox. Then the invoice that is actually attached to the email is due only in 90 days. So you have to wait for 90 days to actually process the payment. Then 90 days later, you have, as a customer, to actually remember that you had to pay that invoice. So of course, you're going to pull that email from your mailbox. Who's going to do that? No one. And then when you take that email, you're going to download the invoice. And then from there, you're going to open up the invoice and try to figure out like, who is the vendor? What is the amount you have to pay? If you're lucky enough, they've put like how to pay on that invoice. I've seen some users of us that just didn't even tell the customers where to pay, right? It's an offline payment method. So you need to usually do a wire transfer. If it's in the US, maybe you're going to put up your checkbook, and just write a check, put it in the mailbox, send it back. So whether via the post office or even do a wire transfer, which is considered as modern and like state of the art in Europe, you're going to do a wire transfer. So you're just going to send like a totally unstructured amount of money that hopefully is the right amount. And then from there, on the other side, as a vendor, you're going to receive that money on your bank account, and someone every day in the morning will just have to open up the bank account and say, oh, we got like $1,200 on the bank account. That's this invoice. I recognize it. And then you match it and you do what we call the cash application. And if you're a business doing 1,000 invoices a month, you are supposed to do this 1,000 times a month. And the bad news is that every single month it starts again. And I'm just thinking about like artificial intelligence and like all these fancy things, and that's obviously great advancement. But if you look at like this process that I've just described, this looks like the Stone Age, right? And people just look at this process and don't think that like maybe that's the reason why we get paid late. But that's obvious to me and that's obvious to us, right? And so really the idea is like, how can you change that? How can you really like just use a simple word, but just streamline this process whereby you actually like sending some information to request a payment and make that payment really simple and seamless, which is, by the way, what's happening every day in your life when you're just going to take your phone, just tap like a terminal, just pay, and you just don't need to think about like how the money is being wired and how does it hit your bank account and how do you reconcile this with the transaction. And so I think it's what is really interesting with B2B payments is that somehow people have accepted that this process that doesn't make any sense still remains the norms in 24. But everyone needs to understand that it doesn't make any sense, right?